Hello and welcome to More Fun with Fitzy. Today we're going to be talking about claims against the assets, and we're going to be talking about them with respect to the balance sheet and what we know about the balance sheet. What are claims against the assets? Well, claims of the creditors, the total amount that we owe to creditors right now is right here, $83,440. That means these creditors have claim to our assets. If we were to go bankrupt, they would be able to get $83,440 of this $239,561.40. Here is the claim of the owner, because this is J. Salas Capital. This is how much he is entitled to of these assets. As you recall, assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. So if you were to sell all these assets for exactly what we have on here, the creditors would be entitled to this amount and the owner would be entitled to this amount. That means they have claim to the assets. Why do creditors and owners have a claim on these assets, do you think? Well, they have either provided the funds used to acquire or buy the assets, or they have provided the assets themselves. Who has first claim to the assets? Do you think the owner does or the creditors? It's a good question, one you need to know. Well, if the business is closed down, the claims of the creditors are settled first. The owner must accept any losses from the sale of the assets, but may also benefit from any profits. Okay, so it's a two-way street here. Generally, there are losses, though, when you sell assets. Okay, we just worked on Subrata lawyers. We made that balance sheet yesterday. So what is the claim of creditors in that case? Well, if you look back at your work, the claim is $35,500, whereas the owner has claim of $29,000. This would have been the total liabilities. And this one is the total owner's capital. Okay, let's take a look at it. As we know from our balance sheet yesterday, the total assets was $64,500. And the total liabilities right here, the 400 plus the 1600 plus the 33,500 was the total liabilities. This is the creditor's claim against the assets. And the owner's capital was $29,000 right here. That's what the owner can claim. Now what do we do if there's a loss? Let's suppose that the Subrata lawyers closes down and suffers a $3,000 loss when selling the assets. How does this change things? Do you think the loss goes to the creditors or the owner? Well, we know it's the owner. We mentioned that already. So let's take a look at how that works. So we lost $3,000 while selling the assets. So they were worth $64,500 when we bought them. And now when we sold them, we only got $61,500. How much should the creditors get? Well, they're going to get their full amount. The 400, the 400, the 1600, the 1600, the 33,500, and the 33,500. However, now the owner's claim on the assets was $29,000. However, the loss goes here. Okay, this $3,000 loss goes to the $26,000 there. Both of them are down $3,000.